Hi everyone, welcome to my channel and to this time-lapse version of a couple of lovely shiny Christmas baubles, just in time to get us in the mood for Christmas. I really hope that you enjoy this speedy version. The full-length demo will be out very soon over on my Patreon channel. But if you enjoy this speedy version here, then please do hit subscribe, give me a like, and go check out all of my other playlists here on YouTube. Lots more videos than just time lapses. This little demo is quite small, it's just 6 inches by 7 inches, and I'm using the brown colour of pastel matte paper. So a quick little study, this is one of my mini demos over on Patreon, and these are usually aimed at either beginners or just shorter projects that take you a bit less time to tackle. And that was the aim with this one. I wanted to give myself some smaller, festive, fun things to work on over the next week or two. So a couple of still life ideas came to mind. One of them was including lovely shiny baubles because it gives me such a good excuse to paint something shiny, which is always fun for me. And I especially love to show how you can get the shiny or sparkly effect even with this very matte medium of soft pastel. I'm using mostly soft pastel sticks. I've got mostly unisons and just a couple of Terry Ludwigs involved here. And then also I will use a couple of pastel pencils here and there just for the smaller details. But the majority of the detail is achieved with the bigger sticks. I took lots of photo reference of shiny baubles and sparkly Christmas tree lights, and I chose this little crop from a bigger photograph. I decided to change the background a little bit, moved some of the darkness from the top of the photograph down in behind the baubles, hoping that it would set them off better and create more of a cozy atmosphere. That was my aim with this piece, to create something as cozy and twinkly as it actually does feel to have a lovely Christmas tree lit up in your room. So the colours that I choose are going to really add to that effect. Although my brain knows that this is a red and white bauble, it's also telling me that we're not seeing any white on there at all. So because I photographed this with a little bit of daylight involved, I did get a nice bit of cool light, which is why I'm using blue tones down the left side of the bauble. And then as we come around the bauble facing into the centre of the tree, it's really quite orange in tone, at least those white stripes anyway. And what might surprise you most of all is just how dark the red stripes need to be in order to capture that sparkly effect. So if you want to create very bright looking little sparkles, something glittery for example, the main key is to make sure that the colours surrounding your sparkly bits are dark enough to really contrast. So sometimes there's only so bright you can go with pastel pigment, and what really needs adjusted are the colours around it. So orange and blue and even a little bit of purple for some of the shadow sections on those white stripes. And you can see that I gave myself quite a challenge with this bauble with all of those little zigzag edges. This would have been done much quicker if it wasn't for those zigzag edges, but I am a glutton for punishment and I do enjoy a challenge. And I always like to pick things that are easily explained, but at the same time, just a little bit challenging as well. So you could simplify this and omit the zigzag edges on this bauble. But for me, that was part of what made it very interesting. And I like the way this bauble doesn't necessarily look exactly spherical, and those little white stripes around the bauble don't look completely even. If anything, it looks a little bit homemade, which I really like. And also that took the pressure off getting it absolutely perfect in the painting. So you can see where I'm bringing in smaller shards of pastel sometimes just to get little bright dots here and there. But then I am coming in with the sharp point of the pencils as well and just neatening up the edges. If anything, I want these little sparkly dots to be pretty round in shape. That tends to be the case when we're looking at little sparkles of glitter, for example. But the other bauble on the tree, which is why I really liked this little photo reference for a study, it's completely different. So we've got the smoothness of this second bauble to try and create. But when I simplify this in my head, I'm just starting how I always start, looking for the darker values first. And you can see that I've gone pretty dark on this second bauble. And in reality, a lot of this bauble actually is quite dark, barring just some of those little sparkly bits of shine and highlight. And you can see there that I've actually added a few of those brightest highlights in already. I just want to be absolutely sure that they shine out nice and bright. It's not often that I plan highlights in advance. I normally just go on ahead with the dark colours and worry about the highlights later. But sometimes if the highlights are particularly bright and sparkly, I might just plot those out first and then try to avoid that area with my darker pigment. And that's exactly what I did here, just to try and get the brightest, shiny, sparkly bits that I could manage on this bauble. So again, we've got a cool light on the left side of the bauble, and then everything on the right side is a bit more heated with the warmth of the lights on the tree. So I really wanted to create a lot of sparkle and a little bit of Christmas magic with this one without going into crazy amounts of detail. So while this does appear detailed from a distance, actually when you're up close you can still see the roughness of my marks. And it's really when you take a step back that it starts to click into place. So there's an extra bit of reflection in the middle of that bauble that I'm working on at the moment. And that is because it's me. It's me in there holding my camera. Perhaps I should have thought to wear black gloves when I was doing this. That might have kept me a bit more invisible. So there's always that option when you're painting something shiny that you could actually make it a self-portrait, a bit like MC Escher with his shiny sphere showing the whole room behind him. But in this case, I decided not. It's just a little hint of my hand holding the camera, and I decided to not bother really including too much of that. So I simplified in that area. And then for the rest of the top corner, just working on the little shiny tops of the baubles, and to just quickly try and give a little sense of some sprigs of Christmas tree coming out from this top corner. So an extremely useful little demo if any of you are interested in learning how to paint shiny or sparkly things. I'm hoping that some of you have a bit of fun with this over Christmas time. So I'll be releasing this full-length demo over on my Patreon channel. I will also release the high-resolution reference image, along with a little photo pack of some different reference images of baubles and shiny things. So lots for you guys to practice with. And next on my easel today is another little still life which has a festive theme as well. This time it's going to be a very shiny glass of mulled wine and some festive accessories. But I hope that you've enjoyed seeing this one come together. I had a lot of fun working on this, and I hope that you will as well. Don't forget to please subscribe here on YouTube. That helps me so much to keep making these videos. Also, check me out over on Patreon if you'd like to see my full catalogue of real-time tutorials. But thanks very much for watching this here, and I wish all of you lots of happy pasteling in 2025.